Jade Cargill just broke the code, and WWE's women's division is in chaos. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got some truly surprising and heartwarming news from the WWE Universe. They thought they had her figured out. They thought Jade Cargill would be just another name, just another body in the machine. But what WWE didn't know, what the entire women's division didn't see coming, was that Jade Cargill wasn't just here to compete, she was here to break the code. And now, WWE's women's division is in complete chaos. This is the full story of how Jade Cargill broke the system, turned allies into enemies, and sent shockwaves through the women's roster. Stay tuned, because when Jade moves, the whole company shifts. Jade's arrival, the calm before the storm. When Jade Cargill made her transition from AEW to WWE, there was skepticism, excitement, and plenty of backstage whispers. A powerhouse, yes. A dominant athlete, absolutely. But WWE is a different beast. Not everyone who arrives makes it, especially in the women's division, where politics and performance collide at every turn. Still, Jade's arrival was treated like a royal debut. Escorted on premium live events. Introduced by Triple H, praised by Michael Cole, spotlighted as a once-in-a-generation athlete. Yet for weeks, Jade barely stepped into the ring. She was being held back, or so it seemed. But behind the scenes, something was brewing. Jade wasn't waiting. She was studying the system. Learning how things worked in WWE. Identifying weak links. Watching who controlled what. She wasn't playing their game. She was rewriting it. The system Jade Cargill broke. WWE's women's division operates on unspoken rules. There's a pecking order. There are locker room leaders. There are alliances, veterans who expect respect, and rookies who are expected to earn their spot over years of grind. But Jade Cargill skipped the line. And not just because of her physicality or charisma, but because she understood something others didn't. Jade identified that WWE's women's division as a power struggle masquerading as competition. She saw Becky Lynch, the face of the women's evolution, struggling to keep control. Bayley, finally champion again, isolated and surrounded by betrayal. Bianca Belair, pushed as the EST, but now a target. Rhea Ripley, absent from injury, leaving a massive vacuum in the division. And new threats like Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, and Naomi, all battling for relevance. Jade realized this division wasn't unified. It was fragile, so she did what no one else dared to do. She exposed the cracks. The trigger. Jade versus Naomi. It all started with Naomi. At first, Jade and Naomi had a respectful rapport. Two black queens. Powerful, respected, trailblazing. But Naomi's surprise win of the Money in the Bank briefcase changed everything. Now Jade saw her as a threat, not because she doubted Naomi's skill, but because Naomi represented the system fighting back. Backstage tension escalated. Jade began refusing to tag with Naomi during dark matches. She'd walk out mid-promo. Subtle signs of war. Then came the breaking point. SmackDown, June 14, 2025. Naomi was scheduled to face Tiffany Stratton in the main event. But Jade Cargill ambushed both. Not just attacking Naomi, but crushing her with a steel chair on top of the MITB briefcase. Fans were stunned. Commentators were speechless. The audience knew something had just shifted. Jade wasn't just turning heel, she was sending a message. Chaos unleashed. Naomi was rushed to medical. WWE issued a vague update about her condition. And Jade, she showed zero remorse. Instead, she walked to the ring the next week, grabbed a microphone, and said, "You call it betrayal, I call it correction. This division is broken. And I just reset the algorithm." That phrase, "reset the algorithm," began trending. WWE social media exploded. Wrestlers began posting cryptic tweets. And the backstage environment, volatile. Bayley confronted Jade backstage, accusing her of taking shortcuts. Bianca Belair posted an Instagram story with the caption, "So disrespectful." Becky Lynch, rarely one to comment publicly, tweeted, "You're clever. But you're not original." But Jade didn't flinch. She responded with one cold statement. "I'm not here to follow. I'm here to dominate." The division was now officially fractured. Inside the locker room, divided loyalties. Behind the scenes, We's women were taking sides. Some admired Jade's boldness. Others felt betrayed. Especially those who worked years just to get a sliver of what Jade was handed on arrival. There were whispers that Jade was lobbying for more creative control. Rumors of Triple H backing her in closed-door meetings. Talk that Jade had plans far beyond just winning gold. And then came the biggest backstage standoff, Jade versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, back after a medical hiatus, reportedly pulled Jade aside and warned her. This business doesn't reward chaos. It punishes it. Jade's reply, I'm not in this business. I'm building my own. Tension hit a boiling point. Producers started separating women in different locker rooms. Factions were forming without being announced. The women's division wasn't a roster anymore. It was a battlefield. The code she broke. So what exactly is the code Jade Cargle broke? It wasn't just about kayfabe or character. It was WWE's unspoken culture code. The code that said, wait your turn. The code that said, respect the hierarchy. The code that says, don't challenge the veterans. The code that expected women to elevate each other, not expose each other. Jade didn't just reject that code. She tore it up live on television and dared anyone to stop her. And the worst part, it worked. Her merch sales soared. Her YouTube segments broke records. WWE brass took notice. Suddenly, Jade Cargle became the epicenter of the entire women's division storyline. The Gold Rush, with Naomi sidelined, and Becky Lynch rumored to be on a break, the title scene cracked wide open. Bayley, the reigning champion, issued an open challenge. And the person who stepped up, not Tiffany, not Lyra, Jade. Bayley accepted, but backstage officials hesitated. They knew what a Jade Cargle title win would mean. It would be a seismic shift. It would validate everything Jade had said. The match was set for SummerSlam 2025. The contract signing, explosive. Bayley slammed Jade's behavior. Jade smiled and said, you needed friends. I needed strategy. You built hugs. I built an empire. And then, she flipped the table, powerbombing Bayley through it. SummerSlam was now must-see television. SummerSlam. The match that changed everything. Bayley vs. Jade Cargle was more than a title match. It was a war between old and new. Between code and chaos. Between tradition and transformation. The match, brutal, technical, emotional. Bayley gave everything. But Jade brought precision and ruthlessness. A surprise interference attempt by Tiffany Stratton backfired, costing Bayley everything. Jade nailed Jaded in the center of the ring. 1, 2, 3. New champion. But there was no celebration. Jade didn't pose. She stared directly into the camera and said, I run this now. The screen faded to black. Aftermath. Chaos is the new order. Post-SummerSlam, WWE's women's division imploded. Bayley took time off. Naomi returned, vowing revenge. Becky Lynch teased retirement. NXT stars like Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade declared war on SmackDown. Raw vs. SmackDown boundaries broke down, and Jade, she began calling herself the final boss of women's wrestling. Each week, she issued open challenges, not out of generosity, but as bait. She wanted rebellion. She wanted the chaos. She wanted everyone fighting, so she could remain untouchable. Even Triple H had to step in. On Raw, he appeared and admitted, I don't know whether to suspend her, or thank her. Because for the first time in years, the women's division isn't just good. It's unpredictable. What's next for Jade Cargle? So what's next? There are whispers of Naomi cashing in and shocking Jade.